Okay. So, hey everybody. This is kind of a weird angle, but um, yeah, this is kind of a weird angle, but I really am unable to do much about that. My iPad's in the back charging, my computer, it's basically on the fritz. Um, so yeah, I'm going to. This is my new little haircut I got going on. Put this hat on. This hat here, I think it's like, I don't even know how warm it is, but it's just like humid. I'm gonna just slide this on. But yeah, um, so I've been contemplating making this video for a while because, well, I said I would explain what happened during the school year as to why I was kind of like very rarely on. Um, I'm gonna get into that. There is some like triggering content possibly, so please keep that in mind when going forward. Um, so yeah, I basically just going into my third year of college. My first year was just really bad. I managed to somewhat keep it on track, but for the most part, I was in like the 1 point range. This by the end of this year, I'm at like a 2.4, so I brought it up a significant amount. I'm currently taking summer classes so I can get my scholarship back. And yeah, I'm halfway through through my class, so the one class I'm really concerned about anyway. So I'm glad for that. Um, and yeah, also so my semester started off with my scholarship being taken away because I was did an appeal and I missed the mark by like by 0.001 basically. Or I think it was 0.01. So I missed it by I think it was like literally that much. And they still decided to take it away. I talked to advisors. I got advisors and faculty members to vouch for me. I don't know if they actually looked at it or not, but it got taken away. So I couldn't do anything. So I had to end up paying out of pocket last semester. Um, Last semester started off with my grandmother got really sick. She had cancer for 4 or 5 years, and she got really sick. And um, before I left, it got really bad, and I could kind of tell that it was getting to that point, but I didn't expect it to be as soon as it was because literally the week after I left, I got a call. I was at my friend's house, one of my best friend's house, and everybody's like, "Yeah, she passed." And so that was something I had to deal with, and that kind of fucked me up for the whole rest of my semester because um, she was like a mom to me, and for me to lose somebody that was that close to me, that really kind of hit me hard. So I basically had to try to make do and try to get through that. And for a while, I was doing okay academically, somewhat despite that. However, I mentally and emotionally basically reached the breaking point once that happened. Um, uh, and um, yeah, and I'm not the type of person, I don't like crying in front of people. But literally, I had so many breakdowns the 2 weeks after that. It was hard for me to cope, and it got really bad. And I was still trying to push through that while dealing with that whole grief because I really didn't, because I had to go to the funeral. I was able to hold it together for that. That was kind of emotional coming home after that. But once I, got past, once I, you know, did what I had to do, went to the funeral, it was nice. And um, went back to school. The breakdowns in front of my friends kind of like kind of petered off finally. I was still having them. I just really wasn't open about them to people, which kind of came back to bite me in the ass, which I'll get into later. And basically, and when she passed, like that kind of brought out a lot of old negative feelings and kind of made some things worse that I was dealing with. So I had to try to balance that out. And I, at first, I was successful, but then it got a lot. I mean, it got to the point where I was really having anxiety attacks all the time. I really wasn't sleeping all like that. I basically was super depressed, although I wouldn't tell people. I was just going to school or going where I was supposed to go. Had a smile on my face and do what I had to do. And then it got to about the middle of the semester, and then that's when things finally just caught up to me. Like I literally wasn't able to get out of bed some days. I had to go to CPS, which I don't know if it's like this for other colleges, but for my college it's called what was it? I'm thinking something else, but it's basically it's like a health place you go to for mental health. And I had to start seeing a therapist there because I couldn't focus. I was basically upset and all the time, and my parents didn't know. They still aren't aware of what's going on because I don't want them to know, honestly, until, I mean, if it comes up, it comes up, but I'm not really ready to share that. So, I mean, my grandmother passed and had like a huge impact on how my semester went. It was hard for me. My birthday came around, and that was one of the hardest things I had to deal with because I had to basically sorry, I heard a noise. I had to basically get used to the fact that, she's not going to be sending me cards anymore. I'm not going to hear her voice on the phone. That's something that I'm still trying to cope with. And, because my grandmother, she basically passed in her bedroom that's right across the hall from me. So that's something that I'm really trying to still cope with, is the fact that, that happened right here. And, I just have like some lingering emotions I'm not really going to get into. So that's what happened with that. And then academically wise, I was doing okay, but then I started to slip. Then I kind of picked myself back up. I started to slip, and then, I kind of just like leveled out finally. So, I mean, I ended the semester not as good as I could have, but, I mean, I still managed to pull through overall, academic-wise. So, I mean, there's that. And then, in my social life, I had some things going on with some friends, and I ended up helping them out through that whole thing when that whole thing started, because it was kind of rough, and a lot of times I would just stay at their place because I would be over there, and I didn't see a point in going all the way back home, walking all the way back home at night, because it was kind of a far walk. So I would just spend the night at their house. Which in all reality, I mean, it was kind of helpful because it got me out of my dorm because I didn't need to be there all the time, and it kind of gave me that interaction, but it also had some negative impacts too. Then things kind of came to a boiling point the last 2-3 weeks of school. What ended up happening was that the situation kind of hit a head, and my friend had to move out to another friend's house, and some other stuff happened I'm not going to get into because that's their business. But the whole thing with that kind of hit a head, so that was kind of, I spent a lot of time making sure that they were okay, and I was kind of worried about them because there were times when I didn't know what to do. And so, like, I kind of just gave them their space when it kind of hit a boiling point, but I was still, like, trying to be there for them. And, then I got a job for next year, but even with that comes its own set of problems. There's a lot of things that I'm kind of concerned about that I'm not going to get into because, not going to do that. So, yeah, that's kind of what happened in a nutshell. But I don't know, this was probably one of a really difficult semester for me because it kind of like made me realize a lot of things. Especially when it came to friends, because there was a situation where I told some friends things how I felt about somebody who I was having a one thing with at the time, or and they went back and told, and so I get calls in the morning basically telling me, hey, why would you say this? That's a shitty thing to do. So, and like that truthfully was never resolved because I just let it go because I didn't want to keep getting called out for something I had no idea, was even, I mean, it was crazy. So I just kind of let it go, somewhat. So it's just a lot of things that happened in a nutshell, and I had a lot of feelings about a lot of these things. Some of it was just straight up bullshit, like the situation that happened with me and this one person, how our friendship literally almost ended twice because of the fact that the first time they were basically talking about, saying that I said they were such a horrible person and telling people all this stuff. And that wasn't the case. They, I guess, I don't know. And come to find out, I found out who was telling them that stuff. So I'm kind of hurt by that they didn't tell me when I asked them. But it is what it is. Then there were some things going on with my club organization. I had to basically go to the doctor a few times because I was going to commit suicide twice last semester. So it was just a lot going on, and that's why I really haven't been so active on my channel. I've been trying to now pick up the pieces from last semester. I've been trying to make sure I do well in my classes, making sure that I can get my scholarship back. I've been also trying to make sure that I'm taking care of myself a little bit better because that's something I have to do because I gained a lot of the weight I lost back by the end of last semester. Like literally all that weight I lost over the last summer, I gained it back and a couple extra pounds, and I wasn't okay with that. So I'm currently trying to make sure that I do stuff so that I can get back down and lose the weight because I need to do that. And yeah, it's just been rough, and I've been thinking about a lot of things since I've been off. I mean, it's been a month. I go back to school, I think August 19th or so. So I mean, I still have basically I have like 2.5, 3 months left still of summer. So I've just been thinking about a lot of things, and in all honesty, it's I don't know, I have to make some decisions about some things, especially when it comes to school and when it comes to my major. But I'll get into that whole life future thing another time. So yeah, that's basically what's been going on with me. In a nutshell, I didn't really go too into detail with certain stuff because I just don't want that out there. But yeah, so thanks for watching. It's hot outside here in Cleveland. I think it's in the 80s, so try to stay cool, and I will catch you later.